We begin in the snow. Not a battlefield and not a war zone, but South Minneapolis. A woman is on her stomach, her face pressed into the cold, her body pinned by an ICE agent. Onlookers scream that she is pregnant and struggling to breathe, but she's dragged anyway, through slush, across concrete, toward a dark vehicle. This is not fiction. This is not hyperbole. This is footage from this week, Monday afternoon, in a neighborhood just miles from where George Floyd was killed under a knee in a city that once called the world to reckon with policing in America. What actually happened? According to eyewitnesses and the viral video that now courses across social media,
ICE broke this person's f***ing window to f***ing harass us. For f***ing what?
Just let her go. Y'all some punk ass motherfuckers. She's pregnant. She's pregnant. You don't see her stomach? She's pregnant. Please let her go. She's pregnant. She's pregnant. You're ugly as shit.
Dozens of ICE agents were conducting a federal immigration enforcement operation near Lake Street and Pillsbury Avenue. At some point, during the chaos, snowballs flying, neighbors shouting, an agent pinned a woman face down in the snow, knelt on her back, and then dragged her by one arm across the street. Bystanders pleaded with officers to stop, warning that she appeared to be pregnant and could not breathe. Federal authorities claimed the woman rushed an ICE vehicle and attempted to vandalize it, and that officers were being attacked with rocks and ice, justification they offered for the use of force. But video and witnesses paint a very different picture, one of an aggressive street clash that escalated far beyond the level of apprehending a single person. Why is this so shocking? Because this isn't just another arrest. This is a spectacle of force against someone vulnerable, someone who, according to onlookers, could be carrying a child. That image alone, a pregnant woman pinned face down on snowy concrete, resonates disturbingly with our collective memory of oppression and unchecked force. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, a law enforcement leader who once had unthinkable contexts for violence in the city, called the footage profoundly disturbing and criticized the tactics as inconsistent with trained de-escalation. Legally, U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement can arrest the people under federal law, including without a judicial warrant in public spaces if there is probable cause that a deportable offense has occurred. But here's where the law takes a different turn. Under federal DHS regulations, immigration officers are required to use only the minimum non-deadly force necessary to carry out their duties and must escalate only if the suspect's actions justify it. Binding federal policy found in DHS's own use of force guidelines emphasizes a continuum of force. Non-deadly force is lawful only when there are reasonable grounds to believe it's needed. And every effort should be made to manage force responsibly. The U.S. Supreme Court has also long held that the Fourth Amendment forbids unreasonable seizures, and excessive force in arrest context can violate constitutional rights. ICE does have internal policies specific to pregnant, postpartum, and nursing individuals that, at least on paper, discourage detention and the use of restraints on them, except in truly exceptional situations. One 2021 directive states that pregnant individuals should not be detained or taken into custody unless release is prohibited by law, and restraint should be avoided unless truly necessary. That police does not provide carte blanche to rough handle a pregnant person, as seen on video. Any force used should be justified by clear and imminent risk, not uncertain protest behavior. Even federal agents are bound by the Constitution. Unreasonable force can be challenged legally. If a person's rights are clearly violated, there are avenues. Civil rights lawsuits under federal law, including claims for excessive force under the Fourth Amendment. In many violent arrest cases, courts look at whether the force was objectively reasonable given the situation, not whether an officer says they felt threatened afterward. Nothing about dragging someone face down across snow is justified as a matter of basic human dignity. The only legal justification that force was needed to prevent harm must be clearly supported by evidence. The disputed counts here, protesters versus DHS, make that justification ambiguous at best. And ambiguity in the face of violence against the vulnerable isn't safety. It is dangerous precedent.
Face down on the ground. People were screaming to let her go.
We kept yelling, she's pregnant, she's pregnant, she's pregnant. They put their knees in her, and we kept telling them, she can't breathe, let her up, let her up.
In the chaos, the woman who was handcuffed was suddenly being dragged by one arm.
Across Minneapolis, across the country, outrage has flared. People are comparing these scenes to America's darkest moments of law enforcement brutality, moments that sparked movement and reshaped national conversation. Protests have erupted. Minnesota lawmakers, including Representative Ilhan Omar, have blasted ICE's conduct, noting frequent stops of Somali American residents and apparent racial profiling tied to Operation Metro Surge, the federal enforcement campaign in the region. Viral posts lament the inhumane treatment and call for accountability, for answers, for protection of basic rights. This isn't just an ICE story, it is an American story. It is about how power sees vulnerability and what happens when authority stops being accountable to humanity.
Y'all some punk ass motherfuckers, she's pregnant. She's pregnant, you don't see her stomach? She's pregnant.
Please let her go. She's pregnant. She's pregnant.
A pregnant woman on the ground should not become a symbol of state power unanchored from compassion. Every time footage like this circulates, it challenges us. What does justice look like? What does force respect? What does dignity demand? We're watching not just an arrest, but a test of our collective conscience. If you found this breakdown meaningful, subscribe, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments, because the conversation about force, law, humanity, and accountability is far from over.